Welcome to What's Cooking with the Cookware and Bakeware Alliance. The CBA supplies the industry with standards, connections, and solutions. This podcast features stories from our members and partners. Our goal is to share resources and information across the industry for consumers, retailers, manufacturers, and more. To learn more about becoming a member of the CBA, visit cookwareandbakeware.org.
I'm very excited today to be doing this podcast with one of our members, James McArdle from Fissler. He is the managing director of Fissler. And thank you so much for being here today, James.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you and your audience.
It's been a fantastic journey. You joined last year and we've been really connected and learning more about what Fissler does. I've known Fissler from the industry for years, but to really get into knowing the company and the product more intimately has been an amazing journey. And I'm so excited that today we get to share that with our audience. And why don't we start right there with who is Fissler?
So Fissler is a unique company in a sense in that it's been around since 1845. It's worth repeating, 1845, which in this day and age is rare. And even more rare is the fact that it's still owned by the same family. They're now currently in the sixth generation, and the business is going strong. It's a company that was founded and remains in Germany. So they have their factories in Germany. We don't make in Germany through other people. We make in Germany in our own factories. And that too is rare today. And that gives us a great opportunity to control quality and innovation, and also deliveries, which is very important in this day and age. Having that control, that vertical integration of the business gives us great strengths in the market. So it's very exciting. So in a sense, that's in summary, that's who Fissler is. A family-owned business, super strong, determined to keep growing to 12 generations, et cetera, kind of thing.
That's incredible. And it's funny as you talk, I was thinking about this leading into this podcast. A big hot topic in our industry right now are direct-to-consumer sites, right? And direct-to-consumer companies. But privately held companies like you're the original. You just started it offline. That's the only difference. I heard this great saying about direct-to-consumers, and it made me actually think of you and these other still privately held 6th generation, 12th generation companies. One of the reasons that direct-to-consumer has become popular is this sentiment of, instead of a brand saying we get you, there's a brand saying we are you. And what you do, what you just said, how you have better control of the quality, the innovation, even the shipping. You do all this because you get the problems and the challenges your audience and your customers face, whether it's the retail customer or the end consumer. And it's incredible. I think people forget that great companies like that are, that's still what built you. This isn't new, DTC.
No, it's absolutely true. And having that direct connection with consumers, and obviously is very important to us, but we also want to sell fundamentally to people the way they want to buy. So it's not so much how we want to sell or what we want to sell or when we want to sell. As a company, our focus is giving the consumers what they want, when they want, where they want it. So if they want to buy off our website, we will happily sell them from our website. If they want to sell through a marketplace platform, we will sell them through them that way as well. If they want to sell through a premium specialist independent retailer who can give them that level of in-person service, do cooking demonstrations, and offer all of those great added values, then we will very happily sell to the consumer that way as well. And we let the consumer decide. We do not wish to dictate how and when they sell. Obviously, ours is a premium brand. It's made in Germany, as I say. Quality is everything. So we do not want to sell through channels that are lower price on an ongoing basis. We are a map line, and we want to ensure that our pricing is consistent wherever possible.
So thinking about those 6 generations and product, where did Fissler start? What product?
Started as a company with pots, and then it developed into frying pans, primarily steel products. And then one of the biggest steps was by 1953, they launched their pressure cookers, stovetop pressure cookers. And stovetop pressure cookers are the original healthy way to cook. They're the original way to cook with using less energy. For example, a Vitavit Premium, or we have two pressure cooker lines. This is the premium one of the two. It uses 50% less energy than if you're cooking the same meal in a pot. The difference between that and saying, a quick electronic pot is that we believe that our products produce a healthy product. The food retains a lot more color, vitamins. It's healthier in that sense, and a lot of flavor is retained in the food. So you've got a faster cooking process, an extremely safe cooking process. We've been making these, as I say, since 1953. They have to meet certainly German standards, American standards. Extremely safe way to cook, and a very easy way to cook. And one of those things that once you try it, get comfortable with it, people will just go back to time after time after time. We started with pots, we moved to frying pans, and then we moved into pressure cookers. And those remain the three legs of our stool today. This company has not broadened its offering into multiple categories of products. We're laser focused on these three, what I term legs of the stool. And we do those better than anybody because that's what we focus on.
You're specialists.
We're specialists. We don't try to be everything. And we're not part of a large conglomerate. We are a very focused family-owned business on creating the best products to help the home chef, a commercial chef, to make things make them as successful as they can be as a cook.
You just keep reaffirming my belief in that this is the original trend that's happening right now, because that's exactly the laser focus is the key in connecting with consumers right now. I love that you said before you do and create products and programs based on what the consumer wants, not what you want to tell them. That's the whole success, right? Consumers want to feel heard, and they want to feel like you care about what they care about.
Yeah, and I think a great example of that in terms of the culture of the company is that we've just recently launched a new Ceratal collection, which is our new ceramic collection. And I see that as the Fissler of ceramic. There's been a lot of ceramic out there in the marketplace, of course, for some time. Fissler has waited until now to produce a product that is of the Fissler standard. And a really good illustration of that is that we have this phenomenal range of the highest quality non-stick frying pans in our Adamant collection. There are people out there who at the same time want non-stick frying pans that are without PFAS and without PTFE. So it's our job as a company to develop a product that is the Fissler of ceramic, in that sense, of a Fissler level of quality. Because there's been a lot of ceramic out there, but we wanted to do it as well as we could do anything, which is to the highest possible standard. So we produced this Ceratal collection, and it's fantastic. It's anybody I give samples to or purchases and uses it, they frankly don't go back, because it's such a phenomenal product. It's just won not only the Red Dot Award for 2022, but it has also won a very difficult to win German Innovation Award. So it has been recognized within the industry for its quality and standard, and we're very excited to offer that. And that's an example that if there are consumers out there who want a product frying pan without PFAS or PTFE, then it's not our job to tell them per se whether they should or shouldn't. It's our job to offer them a Fissler quality standard in that category, and that's what we're now doing.
I think that's the beauty of the CBA. We all recognize that there's different consumer wants and needs, and there's this healthy respect and healthy competition that each member is doing whatever they're doing in whatever product category. And this is the reason for these podcasts. They're doing it in a way to put the best product they can forward. And that's what separates CBA members from the rest of the field. Because just by being a member, the time I wish I could tape a week of my life and show how much members are involved, asking questions, engaged in the standards, and just doing their part to make good consumer products. Speaking of engineering standards, and you touched on Fissler quality, can you talk a little bit about what you do? Do you have a team like an in-house team for testing and quality? How do you handle that?
So that's exactly how we do it. But we also use external testing labs. So, for example, when we decide to do this ceramic line, it's not enough for us to test in-house, and that's more in terms of production quality, continuity, consistency, et cetera, et cetera. But we also will use external German universities, German and European and American institutes in order to determine that we are best of breed, that we are that Fissler does offer something that's frankly superior to the competition. We'll shortly be putting out results, for example, for Suratal to compare it with the performance of some of the competition in the marketplace. It's not enough for me just to declare that it's the Fissler of products. We need people to understand and be able to directly compare and contrast and see those results. And that needs to come from an independent third party that people can believe and trust.
Everything you're saying today is incredible. I had a call yesterday with the team from Springboard Future and Project Partners, who does our new CBA Vector report. And what you're touching on are the three are part of all three of the three critical parts of talking to the consumer right now. And one of them is, unfortunately, because they've been burned before, they want proof. Don't just tell them something does something, show them. And they want to be able to see those test reports or the data or whatever it be. And even the majority who you already have a foundation with a customer who knows Fissler quality, but as you grow in the US market, there's those that want to learn who you are. So to have that backup is critical right now. So James, let's talk a little bit about Fissler's global presence. And then I know you joined them 2 years ago. And can you take us through like the global journey into the US and what's happening here?
So not surprisingly, Fissler is extremely strong in Germany. In every store that you walk into, every premium store, you're going to see Fissler with a very large presence. So that market is very key to us. But we're also very strong in Asia, markets like Korea, Japan, and China. We're also very strong in other European markets. The US market is an interesting one, shall we say. We've been distributed in this market, for about 20 years approximately. We've had mixed results. So the company about 2 years ago decided to invest by taking this subsidiary that they had already, but taking the business back from the distributor into that subsidiary and growing the market. So there is a big investment now into making this Fissler all it can be, all it should be in the US market. There are many people who are aware of Fissler. There are a lot more people who are not. So our job is to give the US consumer, the product they want to buy. And again, to repeat the theme of earlier, sell to them the way they want to buy. And also we have to market the brand. We have to communicate these values. And we're now benefiting greatly from a lot of the new content that's coming out of Germany as they're going through their own process of repositioning the brand and developing a much more forceful, beautiful, wonderful, whimsical campaign. And we will play our part in that overall initiative to grow the Fissler brand worldwide. But the US, we have a 3PL warehouse in Charlotte now, North Carolina. So we're able to service consumers and customers alike very effectively. We're not one of those companies that has a lot of inventory challenges or shipping delays. Again, it's not always easy, but bringing in from Europe is certainly easier than bringing in from Asia. And that's one of the advantages we have. But we certainly know this market well, but now we're putting the effort in to grow in the market aggressively.
That is an incredible journey. And with all that you've done globally and the attention to quality and the attention to innovation, I also know that and you touched on it with the products themselves, especially the pressure cookers with the energy saving, right? And we start to talk about sustainability and environmental awareness because that's a hot topic as well right now. Can you expand a little bit on the environmental and the sustainability that Fissler is focused on?
Sure. So, I mean, Fissler itself, under the CEO that joined about 3 years ago now, Jacob Osterhab, is going through this real renewal as a company. So there's what's going on in the US, in a sense, is just a microcosm of what's going on in Fissler overall. And within that renewal, in terms of investment in machinery, equipment, culture, all practices within the organization, branding, marketing, IT, every touch point has been addressed within the business to make it a much stronger business under his direction and the parent investor group. But within that, sustainability is extremely important. And one of the things to note for consumers and for retailers is that for our pots, for example, 90% of the steel that is used in those pots, that makes up those pots, is actually recycled steel. The company is making a major efforts to reduce its energy consumption in terms of production, to reduce waste, to new packaging innovation. The mindset of the business is very, if I may, very European, very German in terms of being very environmentally sound and low impact in that regard. We're doing the same thing here, where when we have returns that we can't resell or whatever, we're recycling in the US market, for example, as a local initiative, recycling that steel rather than putting it into the earth or just tossing it in some other way. So we really are committed as a company, and we're early on that path, but we're absolutely seeing major benefits, not only for the earth and our planet and one that we all share, but as a company itself, it makes us much more efficient. So frankly, it's that classic win-win situation, and it's what our consumers want, and it's what we should do as a business culture anyway. Frankly, it's one of the things that makes me excited to be part of this business.
And you're right, it is a great win-win. It's not, you're not doing it because it's what the consumer wants. You're doing it because it's right. It just happens to benefit both.
Yeah, and we're also consumers as well. So we're also, it's not as them or us. It's we're on this together. And there are just so many ways that Fissler can continue to drive this forward, and it's really exciting path to be on. And one of the best ways to actually illustrate this is that when you build quality from $1 per day point of view, our high quality product means that there's much greater longevity. So one of the challenges that I know from my German colleagues is that when they're selling pressure cookers, is that they're competing with the fact that people are still using the same pressure cooker that they bought in the 1960s and 1970s. And we've continued to provide the spare parts that keep those products running. So we really aren't in a fast fashion version of cookware, whereby it's relatively low quality, non-stick processes or whatever, that the product is then thrown away and you should really replace it after a year or two. Our product obviously has a limited lifespan, but it's a lot longer than a lot of our competition. So that's the best thing, both for a consumer, $1 per day investment. Their money goes a lot longer, or a lot further. And also the product lasts a lot longer, which means ultimately, ironically, you need to buy less products, and that's also a good thing for the environment.
I get many questions on how to buy the right piece of cookware, and I tell them the same answer every time. How do you cook? So if you were to paint a picture for the person in the US who may not know how to use a pressure cooker, who is that person that should try? And I'm thinking I might be one of them, but
You probably are, because there's really no reason why there's anybody who shouldn't. We make our pressure cookers in a variety of price points and a variety of sizes. So if you're a single person who wants to cook, just for yourself, you can certainly do that. If you're somebody who has a large family and is cooking at the weekend, and because you want to get your meals cooked and put it in the fridge or freezer for the week, then we can do that. We have pressure cookers for that purpose. If you're somebody who likes desserts, and then the pressure cookers can cook desserts. If you want to braise your beef, you want to make soups in the winter, that's a pressure cooker can do all of these things. A stovetop pressure cooker is incredibly versatile, and with a little bit of experience and practice, you'll be amazed at what you can make in a stovetop pressure cooker. It's really, and you can't break it. I mean, this is the thing is, I guess ultimately you could, but it's very, particularly Fissler made quality standards, incredibly safe. We have both audible and visual indicators to show that it's closed. You can't physically open it. If the steam is in there, the steam will release. There are color-coded guides to tell you when to take it off the stove. It's very, very user-friendly, and it's an amazing product, can be used by everybody. There's no group that shouldn't use a pressure cooker. It's the healthy cooker in that sense. Everybody should benefit from its benefits.
That's incredible. It sounds like the original everything pan.
It really is, because ironically, it's also a saucepan. I mean, if you take off the lid,
it's a bit
with pressure, it's a fantastic Fissler, pot. So it's versatile in that sense. So if there's one pot to rule them all, it's a Fissler stovetop pressure cooker.
What I love too about what you said, going back to the pots there, when I was thinking about your timeline, for those who know Fissler as pressure cookers, you were in cookware for 100+ years before the pressure cooker really even came around for you guys. So they need to remember that tripod. I just was thinking about that. I'm like, you were doing cookware for 100 years before that even came around. So I should have started here, but can you tell us a little bit back about your background and your journey to Fissler?
Sure. So I'm born and raised in Ireland. I came here by green card in a lottery in my late 20s. Came for a year, essentially stayed ever since. I've worked also in Scotland and Australia for different companies. But the bulk of my last 25 years has been in the US. I had worked for different companies like Tumi, the luggage company. I ran their North American retail business. I worked for L'Occitane, the French skincare company, ran their retail business. I worked for Bulova, the watch company, and ran their wholesale business. Most recently, I've worked for Stokke, which is a high-end Norwegian-based premium children's brand, most famous for its Trip Trap high chair. So I was brought in to that company to do a turnaround on their business in the US. Successfully did that. The CEO who hired me there, he subsequently moved to Fissler. And then, frankly, he asked me to come join him at Fissler, initially on an interim basis, to help set the business up in the US as a full-on subsidiary. I've really just loved the business ever since, and so I'm still here. It's such a great opportunity when you have such great quality product and something you can truly believe in, and you can get really passionate about sharing that message with other people. That's my quick summary.
I love how you said about the passion, because that comes across in how much you love what you do. I have one just personal question. So anything you miss living here in the US from living in an amazing place like Ireland?
Well, I just came back on Sunday from a week there, and I said the rain and the grey skies was a little bit refreshing, but it's nice to come back to the sunshine and all that here. It's a bit excessive today here at 90+ degrees, but at the same time, I love the fact that I feel equally at home in both places, and all my family's in Ireland. My own family, wife and children are here, of course, and I'm very lucky. I have the best of both worlds in that sense.
That's incredible. That's incredible. It's a place I cannot wait to go, which is Ireland. We're going to plan the trip very soon. So to wrap things up, I love this question because I say this to all companies I work with. What's your why? Because the what, the how, and the when fall in line if you know what your why is. So why Fissler? Why should, whether it be a retailer or consumer, why Fissler? What's Fissler's why, and why should the customer pay attention?
The answer to that is that Fissler we want to enable the consumer to be a better chef. We want to help them by giving them the tools, superior tools, to help them be all they can be as a cook, as a chef, if you like. And thus the quality and the innovation, the technology, the consistency of quality, all of these things are designed to make somebody have fun and to enjoy cooking, to take the fear and anxiety out of it, for example, with the pressure cooker, but to also make their lives easier. If you want to cook very, small or large batches of food with a low energy cost, then we offer you that. We're really here to help people by giving them a product that does things that they otherwise couldn't do.
It's great, the words that use like superior and innovation and quality all throughout as we spoke. It's why we do what we do, right? Give consumers good options, strong options, the best options is what CBA members are all about. So it's been a pleasure working with you. I can't wait to see where things go.
Thank you for all your support and advice over the last year or so. It's made a real difference. We are working with a company primarily focused on based out of Germany, and they need intelligence, and that's part of my job, is to share that market knowledge with them and help them. And you've been a great asset in terms of helping me do that. So thank you, Fran.
It was great having you here today. I can't wait for the next one and to hear what's coming next. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity. All the best.
You've been listening to What's Cooking with the Cookware and Bakeware Alliance. For more resources about the cookware and bakeware industry and information about becoming a member, visit our website, cookwareandbakeware.org.